And did you? Hello, and welcome to the Curious Mind series. A very good afternoon to everyone. Hi, Daryl.
Afternoon, Vikram. Depending which part of the world you are at.
Yeah, to some of you who are watching us in the morning, good morning. To some of you who are watching us live in the afternoon in Southeast Asia, then a very good afternoon. And it is definitely quite sunny and hot in Malaysia, isn't it, Daryl?
Definitely the past few days. Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, a warm welcome. Today is the 12th episode of the Curious Mind series at this point in time. So, firstly, a welcome to each one of you who are watching us live, whether you are on LinkedIn or whether you are on YouTube. Um, I am Vikram. I'm going to be your host for the afternoon, as well as the founder of the Curious Mind series, wherein we are on a mission to resolve curious queries relating to either a particular area, field of work, and add value to our guests by providing relevant and candid information. Today, we are delighted to have none other than Daryll Tan on board as our guest speaker, where we unravel tough entrepreneurship lessons learned, which he has learned along his crazy entrepreneurial journey, successfully founding and building many, many different businesses. Started at a very young age, currently the co founder and director of OpenMinds, Daryll has been instrumental in building his company's valuation to a whooping USD 5 million in 4.5 years. He has been a TEDx speaker, a part-time digital trainer at TAP by IACT, a mentor for Future Lab, Startup Weekend by Techstars, young corporate Malaysians, and the star at Leaderonomics Pullout. He's also been recognized as the top 10 visionary leaders on Beyond Exclamation Magazine 2018, most influential leaders in business on the Business Berg 2019, Successful People in Malaysia 2021, nominee of EOY Entrepreneur of the Year 2018, and nominee for 100 MIYE Most Influential Young Entrepreneurs 2019. Oof, that's a lot for a very young age, Daryl, and I already got tired only speaking about it. How do you feel when somebody says something like this all about you?
I still feel that I'm truly humbled by all this. Again, it's recognitions, and to me, it's all. Well, I'm blessed. I think I'm really grateful and blessed to be in this position because ultimately, as I grow older, I know that my influence or credibility adds more positive value to the people I speak with or the leaders that I try to grow. But it all boils down really to the heart and what's inside, and like you on this series, the curious mind, it happens all here, right, in the mind. And I think that's really more important than all the other credentials and awards, right? Yeah, so I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much, Vikram, for having me.
And I'm grateful for having you on our podcast. So, without further ado, before we kickstart this conversation and for people to listen to us, um, let me reiterate that the essence of the Curious Mind series is that the guest speaker, which is Daryll today, is only aware about the topic of the discussion, but not the curious questions which we are going to ask him. Therefore, all his answers will be in an unfiltered, non-edited live format based on his skills, competencies, experience, and his personality over the years. So, Daryll, are you ready with that?
I hope so. I'm ready. Let's go.
And while I ask these questions, these curious questions to Daryll, this is open to the audience as well. Anybody who's watching us on LinkedIn Live, who's watching us on YouTube Live, you can type in your questions in the comment section. We are not aware, we can't see you. Just to share, that is how the live format works. So we can't see you, so we are not aware who you are, but you can type in your questions, and we will kind of bring it up, pop it up right here, and Daryll will answer to you. That is how we are going to go about it. So let's begin with now. I did mention all this about you, Daryll. To begin with, for someone who started so young, can you share with us a bit more about your journey and what motivated you to build all these businesses? So probably you can share a bit more about the businesses you've built and what motivated you along with your journey.
Okay, great. I started when I was 21. That's pretty young because, fun fact, I don't have a degree. I did not graduate. They many of what they call a uni dropout, but I like to consider myself as a uni step out. I purposely and intentionally stepped out of university and to pursue entrepreneurship. At the age of around 18 or 19, I took the leap of faith to say that, hey, I don't learn in the four walls of a classroom. Let me go out there and learn in the real world. And I think this is every time I share, I also acknowledge my parents, especially my mom and also to my sister, that believed in me, prayed for me, to a large extent, encouraged me to also fulfill my dreams at a very young age. When I was in high school, I already knew that I wanted to be a boss, not knowing
Mm-hmm.
exactly what that is or what that entails until truly when I became more of a business owner and entrepreneur at the age of 20 or 20. I truly knew and understand, what being a boss really meant. And I think it's not all fancy, dandy, and luxurious, even to today. I would say, even to today. And I think that uh, the one thing that really drives me from moving forward and building other businesses, beside it being a quote unquote hobby, is seeing the lives that enter into the business transform, or the people that I come across with being transformed. Now, I have to be real. Not every person that comes my way or I start businesses with go away feeling good. Again,
Mm-hmm.
business is business. The reality of business is that I have ex-founders or ex-partners that may not have parted in the best of terms, but we knew what we were getting ourselves into as well. As the business was flourishing, it may not have lasted or sustained. We had to make the tough decisions, right? But I am very grateful for OpenMinds Group, and this is the company that I'm currently in, and is one of the more successful businesses that we've built together with three more other founders. We are currently in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and going to start another country soon. Hopefully, I'll let you know in October, or you can watch out for the
Mm-hmm.
news. You know where's the fourth country. It's a journey of faith. It's truly a journey of faith. Every businesses that I've started, besides OpenMinds, as you know, OpenMinds is a group, so we have different entities that handle different services and solutions as well. Another thriving one, or rather upcoming one, is called Open Academy, whereby we are very, very excited about education. And hence, in the year 2020, we decided to fast forward Open Academy and even build our own IP app to serve people all around the world. And we are close to about 20,000 users on Open Academy. You can download it as well, Open Academy on Google Play or Apple Store. And you're able to see and watch videos. We are very agnostic. We're very topic agnostic. So we go across finding industry practitioners to ensure the quality and excellency of all the lesson plans or the bundles, we call it, and for people to learn and to grow and to upskill. There are many other entities I will probably share along the way, but these two, or the group and also Open Academy, and other associates that we have built partnerships with, build this entire ecosystem of services and solutions that we offer as a group, and to solve different brand problems and challenges. Along the way, we have built many good people. And I think right now we're in the season of building the next generation of leaders. And this is something that motivates me as well, Vikram, going
Mm-hmm.
forward, right? Is to impart, is to enhance, it is to change, is to anchor people's lives, but more importantly, to build leaders that can also take on the business to greater heights. And I'm a firm believer that I may not be the first in everything, and I don't have to to be the first in
To be
everything.
different.
Right? I'm very happy, and then I always tell my wife, I'm very happy being the second. Right? I'm very happy being second. I always try to remind myself there is always someone better than me, faster than me, more competent than me. So we build leaders, and we try to help leaders to rise up to the next occasion, to be responsible and be wise in their decision making as well, so that they can bring us where we couldn't bring the company to in a certain season of time. And that motivates me up to today.
Wow, that's quite motivational and inspiring to me as well. That's amazing, Daryll, to what you have done, and I like the way you've been very candid about it. So just to kind of roll back, at 21, at an age of 21, whether it's a dropout or a not dropout or a purposeful decision you made, a lot of people at that age are not even sure what they want to do with life.
Yeah.
At that point in time, you were not only sure what you wanted to do, you were very clear you wanted to drop out, because the rat race is always there. The herd mentality is always there to say, I want to join and be like my friends at that age and point in time. So, what do you think made you differentiate yourself than the others? Again, you're not the first one. There are many such, and we are not into that. But what we are into, what made you to take that decision and that tough decision at that point in time, which was such a young age?
I'm always a firm believer that I don't learn in the four walls of a classroom. And I knew that if I wanted to grow, I wanted to excel in life, I had to also position myself in a very uncomfortable situation where I um, also am very responsible over my own education. And this is something that I shared during my TEDx talk, building an ecosystem of education, whereby we rely not only in our formal tertiary education, but also in the informal and alternative, or what we call life, just as a whole. And I think for me, I learned a lot by just doing. And that motivated me to want to start my own business or businesses. I feel at the age of 21, I do agree that at age of 21, many of my friends were still studying, and maybe 2 more years left till they get their degree, or some went on to masters and PhD. But I knew, and I had this conversation with one of my friends, and he meant well. He asked me, "Are you sure, Daryll, you want to do this? Do you have a plan B? Do you have a net?" Right? And to me, my straight answer to my friend was that I actually don't have a plan B. The reason simply because is, if I spend a lot of time in my plan B, my plan A would not work. So that's what I said. And I believe that today, right? But I do also believe in some contingency plans, right? But not necessarily I need to put my full effort into my plan B till what I set out to do does not command the majority of my time. And I feel that would be a waste, or I will also put myself in a very difficult situation. I'll rob myself of the opportunity and the dream. And I try my best even up to today, not only just at work, but in family, building a new family life, a family unit, right? My son also just turned 1 year old. So it's a very new season, right, that we're going through. And I put this same aspect or concept or belief into my daily life as well. And up to today, I know when I mentor youth or talk to the younger generation, some of them may not know their purpose in life, and I didn't really know my purpose in life as well, right? I think it's a big question mark, but all I know is that I needed a true north, a purpose where I can be dynamic, I can grow my purpose. There's nothing wrong in changing and editing my purpose. And I think up to today, I still do that, just that I tweak less of my purpose because I already know my purpose of making an impact and being an influence in the marketplace, in the family unit. And I want to grow and create jobs as well. Right? So there are a few elements of my purpose where I know I'm heading to, and that throughout the past 14 years has crystallized to this day. So I hope that answers your question, Vikram.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it does. And like Kim rightly said, thank you, Kim. Just plan A with a thumbs up, and that's what it should be. You should have a contingency plan, but don't be so dependent on your plan B that you stop losing focus on your plan A, isn't it? Isn't that what you said?
Correct. And hi Kim, nice to see you here. Thanks for the support. And I draw inspiration from people all around the world, and knowing that how they have also grown businesses or even communities. It's hard work, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, a lot of dedication and responsibility. And I know about growing so many businesses along the way is that you need true champions along the way to help you, to assist you. You can be the mastermind. There still needs very good people to execute the plan, execute the
With you.
strategy, right? And those I call champions, the real owners and champions that I really take my hat off to those who really run the race well with us.
Nice, interesting. Thank you for that. If you were to look back as of today, amongst all the accolades you have received and awards you have won over the years, Daryll, which top two or three have been the most satisfying or gratifying to you?
To be honest, I don't pay too much importance or my
To
attention to the accolades or awards. What I can say is that they are also my co-founders and I. We receive a lot of nominations as well, and in by and large, to be honest, we don't take them because, in summary, you pay, you win, right? And we don't go for those, and I don't put that in my credentials. But by and large, I think just by knowing that we are acknowledged in the marketplace, in the industry, whether we win or not, I think is something to be proud of, right? But also to be thankful of, because end of the day, I know that the accolades and all, it's just an individual thing. But if you truly look at the essence of it, I think my biggest celebration, my biggest gratitude is actually to the team. Like I say again, you need champions, you need owners. The team is the one that enables the forefront leaders to get recognized. And I hope that I have also put it out there that I'm not a one-man show. And I knew this from day one of starting. Actually, not day one, a day maybe, I don't know, 110th of my first. I say I cannot be a lone wolf. I can't do this on my own, my very, very first business. And therefore, I went out and find co-founders and partners to journey with. And up to today, this is something that I truly believe in as well. If you want to thrive, you want to move, you want to remain constant, you want to grow, right? You need people and people at a certain level with you to also fight the good fight. And it's not easy to find the right partners. I get it, I understand. But if you found one, stick to them like a marriage, commit and go forward. I believe that, together, you can do great things.
And even marriage is not easy. So it's the same
100%.
thing, like with
Exactly.
a co-founder, it's the same thing.
Yes.
It's like a marriage. So you have to manage it, you have to balance it out.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
And while I was asking you that question, Kim did mention all the time, Daryll, we are in a collaborative ecosystem. Thanks, Kim, again. And I think, Daryll, you would want to acknowledge that.
Yes, I think this whole ecosystem of collaboration, that's how we in fact built OpenMinds to be complementing, to be an ecosystem of self-sustaining ventures. So the entities shows for itself as well. And the people, we always hope and wish and remind that you should always cross-team, cross-work with one another, have that collaboration with one another. And I think this is in one of my leadership elements that I believe in unity. Everybody needs to move in one unit. You need to be united. You need to sing the same song. And if you don't, well, it's either you sing the same song or
Oh, yes.
it's not the right fit. It's just not the right fit. You might just prefer another company, another team. It doesn't matter. As long as you're not the right fit, I think it's very difficult to move as one unit. So true what Kim said in terms of collaboration, in terms of ecosystem, I think this is something that we want in the future. We want not only just for business. If you just look at the world economy, you look at politics, you look at local politics, collaboration, an ecosystem of whether you call them parties or ventures or people or MPs or founders, we need collaboration to make sure that we can reach the next stage, because too many things are moving too fast and too many things are moving too scarily difficult and complex, right? And we need one another to identify that.
Okay. That's lovely. Thanks, Kim, and appreciate your response, Daryll. We are going to go into the little detail for which, as we have warmed up, we are going to have this discussion. And interestingly, Scott has also asked the same question. So I'm going to pop up Scott's question right out there. Hello, Vikram and Daryll. Hi, Scott. How are you doing? I've got a question here. What was the toughest problems that you have encountered during your entrepreneurial journey, and how did you solve it? Now, I was going to ask the same question, Daryll, but I'm so glad that Scott somehow is asking the same. So go for it. What is the toughest problems you've encountered in your entrepreneurial journey, How did you resolve?
The toughest is answering tough questions. I think that in all things, two things. Can I just say two things? There are many P's that I follow. Right, there is purpose, there is process, people, profit. In fact, I add in bonus called prayer, faith. Right, but I think people and profit, meaning to say team, people, leaders, and money is something that we lack conversations around, and therefore it becomes problems when we run businesses. Money is important. I feel that in all things and all businesses, everybody needs to talk about money, and whether we talk about money correctly is another question. Because I remember in the earlier days of business, we put money as just a byproduct. If we
Correct.
realize that and say, don't let's not talk about money. We do good work, money will come. Although that mindset is true to keep your passion and focus, there is still a great need for money to do great things, and therefore money needs to be wisely handled. And that came as a challenge and one of the toughest problems because we were bootstrapped. And up to today, we are still bootstrapped, by the way. So our own resources, our own money, we wrote capital, we wrote revenue and profits. And up to today, we obviously, money is still a topic, is still one of the toughest because we are living in a service-based industry, tech, digital, and it's moving very, very fast. The demand, the supply is all growing at a rate where it's exponential, right? And
True.
expansion plans, right? If we keep it small, sure, I don't think it's be a problem. But if we want to be a global impact, money has always come out. Money in support of people, money in growth, money in scaling, money in just rewarding people for good work. The second one is people. Then I guess this is a good segue. People, where I noticed that a lot of leaders, when they were just working as part of the team, they didn't realize how important people management is until they either become a manager or a owner of one of our entities. They realize that, hey, Daryll, it's actually very difficult. And I understood why now you treated me that way, or told me certain things, or led me certain way, or gave me those feedback when I was just part of the team. And they know that then, people management is very, very tough. It's very, very tough. Building the culture, building the value, repeating yourself just so that they remember and make things a habit. People management, I would always say this: people is one of our greatest asset, but it's also one of our greatest headache.
Headache.
And I put
Yep.
myself in that same equation as well. Sometimes it's not easy to deal with me. I always remember that those two up to today are toughest problems in no matter which business you come from. Even a business that solely relies on remote workers, or even AI, you still have to deal with people, you still have to deal with money, and those two are the ones that maybe for different businesses and different people it happens in different degree, right? Different priority. But I think all in all, these two truly sums up, an ongoing hurdle that we need to conquer at every stage. At every stage is different, and every stage we have different solutions for it.
Okay, great. So, money and people, which is fantastic. So, I will continue with the same question of Scott. And Scott, we hope Daryll is answering to you to what you're looking for. And then, how do you resolve this? So, I'm sure you've come across this, but
Yeah.
is there a magic wand for people? I
Oh,
know for sure it isn't. Or for money?
unfortunately, no. I think money, for example, you need the other P to come into play, process. You need people and process to come into play. See, a good system, and of course, the other P, then the third one is product or service. With good product and services, with good systems and processes, with the right people to drive that process and services, I believe you will have money coming in, revenue, right? And you're also putting a lot of effort into building that foundation. But more than the foundation, you're building a machine that hopefully would make you more money, whether it's user acquisition, customer retention, or even going out there to gain clients and brands as part of your clientele, right? And I think there's no two way about it. There's no magic wand. There's no fast track to this. I think all of us need to work hard, and depending on which season you're in, I think working hard is very different from working hard when you are 18 to 20 years old versus working hard when you're 5 or 40 years old. It's very different focus. And I think one of the way I try to solve this is my mindset. I need to know which season I'm in, what type of people I need to invest in, where do I lead them to, my expectations of them. I think this truly helps solve assumptions. It solves ambiguity. It also solves the problem of people not being the right fit. And so for people, the way we solve it, or we try not to always solve it, we try to mitigate it. Meaning to say, whoever that we hire, we have a very stringent, very strict hiring process. We don't only hire based on competence or skill, we hire based on culture fit as well. And when they come in for their second or third interview, they also put the competence to test through an assessment and presentation. And we hire roughly mid or slow. I wouldn't say we hire very fast. But if we want someone and we really want someone, we hire fast. But in the whole hiring process, we do take our time because we also do not want to insert anybody that may be a problem in the team, right? We build a culture where it takes a whole village to build. And I always say this, it takes a village to build, but it takes one person to knock it down. And we have multiple of those throughout our 14 years, right? We have a handful. And it does disrupt the business a lot. It disrupts trust. It disrupts the flow of business, and it actually adds a lot of cost to hiring again. So to us, sometimes it's better to promote. It's better to promote someone up. It's reward someone, help the person go into leadership rather than hire or fire.
Hire somebody from the market.
That's a lot of cost. So I don't think that is the best solution. Unless you're saying you're a big conglomerate, you can do that. That is your strategy, then sure. Right? But for SMEs, I think, again, we need to rethink what's the opportunity cost here.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I think that helped resolve your question, Scott. If you have more, feel free to ask while we are at it. And we have Eliza, who says, great session going on. Hey, thank you, Eliza. Daryll, you're giving some amazing answers to a couple of curious questions. So thank you, Eliza. Thanks for a little note of appreciation. We'll take that. This goes to the next question. Daryll, so when you are in a startup mode, you are an SME or you're in a startup mode, you spoke so much about people. Now, one is attracting talent, wherein you're probably not, you as in not you, but the organization, which is a startup, is not the biggest of brand. And at the same time, you have a particular vision as a founder or a group of founders. You want to bring the right culture fit. You want to do the right assessment. So it's a balance of wanting somebody good, at the same time attracting the right talent. And then there is an element of gut feel into it. Right. How do you balance all these three: gut feel, attracting the talent, and also going through the process and, as a new SME or a startup?
When we first started, I was still very amazed. We called our first hire 001, and we were very amazed. Why on earth this person, this new grad who wants to be a tech engineer with us? Yeah, he's still around. He left for Australia, and we still keep in touch. So it's the whole area of, I think, believing in something small first, right? Even if you're not branded, people don't know you. I think the magic happens when they come in and you also walk the talk. I think for smaller startups and entrepreneurs, you need to walk the talk. If you say certain things, you need to commit to them. And if you can't, don't say it first. Don't say it just for the sake of branding, because when people come in, they will also be very high alert whether what you say matches the reality of things. And that is a question I still ask up to today to people who are finishing their probation. I will ask them what we have said or what we have preached in reality versus reality, what kind of score or how is it in reality would you also feedback to us, right? I think that keeps us in check. So that helps us when we were smaller. When we were bigger, branding is there, PR is there, positioning awareness is there. Probably just in Malaysia, but in Singapore, we're still not there yet. Hong Kong, not too bad. And that whole balancing of attracting new talents, what we do, we also put ourselves as co-founders, as leaders out there to also give speeches, we give talks, we share on panels and workshops, and therefore that builds the brand, not only for ourselves, but also the brand of the company and who we represent. I think that's one way, quote unquote, we hack through corporate branding for ourselves. But I think when the people come in, the gut feel is very, very important. And I think that comes just with experience. And I can see that with newer hiring managers and when I train them as well. And in the end, they seem to have a bigger gut feel than me, and which is good, right? which is very good. Sometimes they're more critical than me, in fact, right? Which is good. But I think, again, like you say, we need to balance that gut feel versus the wisdom of how we hire or how we recruit certain people at a certain rate for a certain position. Right? And I truly believe there is competence involved, there's skill, there is the emotional part that drives decision, but there's also experience that then equals to gut. And all this needs to be integrated together nicely in a nice package. And I think that this whole skill or element can only come through just doing and doing more and through experience. And I think that's how we select certain people, or that's how we grow certain leaders to also be in a position of decision making here at OpenMinds.
Nice, nice, extremely nice, very interesting. I mean, from somebody like me who comes from an HR perspective, it's very interesting and intriguing to hear how much detailing you get into in terms of hiring the right person. Because, like you rightly said, you one mistake, and I'm sure you would have made mistakes. It's not that none of us have made mistakes. You know, I would have done thousands of interviews. I still end up making a mistake. There is a mistake around the corner somewhere,
Yes.
but that can impact. It can have a much more harsh impact on you and the organization. So I
Mhm.
think clicking, ensuring that it happens well is absolutely right. Okay, that's great, Daryll. Going to the next one, and which is what we want to kind of cover in this session, a little more deep. We covered what Scott has, what has been, the toughest problems. But what are the toughest entrepreneurship lessons? So when we talk about entrepreneurship, a lot of us do. I'm on my entrepreneurial journey right now, but the grass looks greener on the other side from a corporate perspective. You always feel, oh wow, this person is an entrepreneur. Today, a lot of entrepreneurs are there in the market. Some are doing really well, some are struggling, some literally go back into corporate. So grass looks greener on the other side. There is no doubt. But what are the toughest entrepreneurship lessons you have learned, which are probably top two, three, four, five, which you would say, I learned this lesson purely based out of my experience?
I would say priority. As an entrepreneur, right, I feel that because of how innovative and how excited we get with new opportunities, I think prioritizing and focusing on the right opportunity at the right time is very important. And this is one of the toughest things that I've learned in entrepreneurship, because building so many businesses, we know that sometimes we are very starry-eyed. We go after opportunity, don't care, the waves are huge and big, we run straight at it, we run through it. Sometimes we drown, we do not actually make it or swim, we sink. Right? And that is one toughest thing that I think up to today we need to also check and balance ourselves, because there are many opportunities that come for us, and with the networks that we have, people also do look out for us, throwing us opportunity, or we look out for other people trying to build opportunities with them. And because we have such a resource that can actually hop on and say, we can build the tech, we can structure the tech, we can do digital for you, we can advise. There's so many resources at our fingertips, but we need to realize as entrepreneurs, then what is our priority, what's our focus? Without focus, without priority, without the right people and champions, a lot of times, therefore, the businesses that we built lasted 1 year, 1.5, 2 years, made money, in the end also lost, and then we shut it down or put it into hiatus. Sometimes I've learned as entrepreneurs, opportunities come and we may not start at the right time, meaning to say, we are either most of the time we are too early. And because we are too early into the game, the big boys actually have quicker funds to exceed and exponentially grow more
Hmm.
and faster than you and kill us off, right? Or there's no economy of scale. When there's no economy of scale, it's very difficult for people to also invest and fund into your product or services or solutions. And I think as an entrepreneur, again, that comes back to priority. And up to today, I guess, if you have been an entrepreneur for 1 year or 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, I think the seasons of your life changes. And because when it changes, a lot of things add up and pile up: responsibility, commitments, family, wife, husband, kids, senior parents. So as we go along, I realized that one of the toughest things I've learned is actually, at the beginning, we were just thinking out for ourselves. We were thinking for our
Hmm.
partners and businesses as who they are as that, and that's it, but not true. Same like a marriage, you marry into a whole ecosystem background
Ecosystem.
of things, right? They may affect the livelihood of that person. And I've learned that prioritizing certain emotions or prioritizing certain well-being is also important and very, very vital versus than only focusing and prioritizing on skills and competence and performance, right? And this is why in the world Open Minds, we have also put some scoring around not just competence and skills, but soft skills, emotions, different upskilling elements as well, so that we can grow a person more wholesome, right, in a more holistic way as well. Now, those just a few things that I learned along
Nice.
being an entrepreneur.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm conscious you've been answering and I'm asking, bombarding you with questions. If you want to sip a little water or something,
No,
I
I'm
hope,
good.
Daryl, you're okay
You're
with
good.
it.
You're good.
Okay. Okay. While we are at it, I had the next question with me, but we have somebody I know well. Thank you, Ramki, for joining. His name is Venkata Ramakrishnan. We call him Ramki. Hi, Daryl and Vikram. One fear everyone has about the entrepreneurial journey is the fear of failure, or favorite question, and the subsequent financial losses. How should one prepare for this? And he's followed it up with a question. So I'll ask both the questions at the same time. Daryl, probably you sum it up. Also, what defines a successful entrepreneur? Is it measured in terms of personal satisfaction, or is it the profits that one can generate?
Hmm.
Lovely questions, Ramki. Lovely questions.
I'll answer the first one first. I think that one is more straightforward. There is always a fear of failure, even no matter where or which year you are as an entrepreneur. I think for me, the most important thing is that you've heard about this. Take your calculated risk. Make sure you prepare. You don't go into analysis paralysis. I think for me is gathering data and making sure that you do enough to prove a concept. And when you prove a concept, your failure should decrease. So the fear of failure should be countered by doing, meaning to say the gaining of confidence and courage. So the more you do, the more you prove a concept, the fear of failure should reduce. Rather than taking fear of failure as a whole number, we should start to reduce that so-called fear bit by proof of concept, by maybe moving more into a MVP of a product or service or a solution, and then slowly going into partnership, moving into the market, and so on and so forth. We hope that that will also reduce financial losses. Because you
Hmm.
should also, obviously, if you're not an accountant, you're not good at numbers. I'm not that good at of numbers as well. So to me, maybe I'm a bit blindsided, and therefore maybe the fear of loss is, it just went over my head a bit too soon, right? And there is 1 year where we actually said this. That I think was the second or third year of doing business. We said that, guys, the founders gathered in the room, say, guys, when we pay our employees or teammates their salary, we only have 1 digit left in the bank. All right. So what should we
Really?
do? Yeah, it's real. 1 digit or 2 digit, whatever it is very low amount. 1 digit or 2 digit in the bank for a company is very low. And we said that, what should we do? And because we were very adamant and very clear about our principles, our moral compass, we said, no, we pay and see how it goes. We were men of faith as well. So we went, I think after that, I remember it was during Chinese New Year. In fact, I
Hmm.
went for Chinese New Year dinner. There was a big burden on all of us. But end of this, well, so to summarize the whole thing, we're still around. All right. I believe doing the right thing, having that, then, a few weeks after that, cash came in, cash flow came in, we managed it. And that's why I talk about the importance or the lessons on money. Right. So financial losses is real. I do acknowledge that. How should one prepare for it? For me, I feel that if you're young, when I say young, you're below the age of 20 or even 20 to 25, I feel you should just lower your commitments as much as possible. Humble yourself, lower your commitments. If you have a great idea, you have a great solution to solve a certain problem, give it your all. Give it your all. 6 days a week, have 1 day of rest. Just go out there, work and work very, very hard, and this should lower your chances of failure. Right? We should always counter that failure. And again, to counter fear is to do, means to do
Do.
little by little. If you're scared to jump two, 2 stories
Far.
high, jump your half story first, right? If you are scared to take a leap, you take a leap to a smaller leap first, and then make it bigger and bigger. And I always believe about this whole think about taking leaps, because if you take the leap, you're doing. You can only overcome fear when you do and when you leap for it. I believe that's one way to also prepare, whether it's your mindset, your pocket, the community, the people that you're responsible to. You need to also prepare them and put them into the same journey as you. Right? So I hope that answers that first question.
First question. It's like it's doing. It's the doing which will give you the confidence over a period of time, and the fear of failure kind of starts subsiding down eventually. Very nice.
Alright.
Very nice.
Alright. The next
Next
one.
one.
What defines a successful entrepreneur? Again, I think this is a bit more difficult because it's complex, and I think it really depends on each person's purpose. If your purpose
Do
is
you
to
think you are successful? Sorry to pause you there, Daryll. Do you think you're successful as of today as an entrepreneur? Do you yourself think, irrespective of what the world thinks of you?
Yes, because one of my purpose is to create jobs. Am I creating jobs? Yes, I'm creating jobs. It's also to make an impact. Am I making an impact? I would say not a big one, but there is. So I do acknowledge it. I also do not shortchange myself. Am I one of the other one? The purpose is also to make a difference in the family unit through entrepreneurship. Am I doing it? I'm on the way. I'm doing it. So I count that as a success. Again, it's not just about monetary. Right? A lot of people, when we obviously, especially Asians, when we say, "Are you a successful entrepreneur?" The next question is, "How much do you earn?" Or "How was the biggest
How much
have
you
earned so far?" Right? And I feel that that whole is a personal journey. Right? There is no one size fits all, because I've seen entrepreneurs that count themselves successful even they close down their business. Why? It's because at that very moment, at that 2-3 years of time, they have achieved what they have want to achieve, because some of them set out to solve a certain problem, and the problem became too big, but they kick-started the initiative.
something?
They kick-started, right, the solution, and therefore maybe bigger conglomerates came about, or bigger competitors then took on the baton, right, and ran with it, right? And I count that as a success as well, because it all boils down to, again, what's your purpose, and then subsequently, what's the vision, right? And this vision is clear, all your missions are clear, your goals are met. I would think that you personally are a successful entrepreneur. But of course, many people, one of the clearest indication, right, is profits. But what if you run a company that's non-for-profit? I have friends who run,
NGO.
non-profits, NGOs, right? Are they successful? 100%, right? They gain recognitions globally. They have touched and impacted many lives,
Many
right?
lives.
But are they like the richest people? No, I think they're the richest in love. They're richest in their own satisfaction. They're richest in their service and kindness, right? And I think all this plays into the whole successful entrepreneurial question or
Mindset.
journey, right? Mindset. Yeah.
Okay. That's great. That's great, Daryll. Thank you. And that's a little thank you from Ramki to you, Daryll. Very well explained.
Thank
That's
you.
really nice, Ramki. Thank you for asking those lovely questions. You did take away one question more from me, because we're going to be pretty much on time. And before we realize, we're already 45 minutes into
Wow.
the live show. Daryll, I didn't realize it at all. Lovely hearing you and the way you're answering the questions. A lot of insights and experience. Um, we're going to do the next probably 10 minutes, Daryll, in terms of questions. Then there is a fun rapid fire round, which is what we call in the Curious Mind series, and we'll park it for the last 5 minutes. So, in the interim, for our audience, for our guests, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I have a couple of them. I will definitely ask Daryll. But again, if you have, this session is for you. you can feel free to ask Daryll too. So we spoke about, Daryll, we spoke about the tough lessons, we spoke about the journey, we spoke about what it needs to be. What, according to you, having experienced both sides of the spectrum, uh, Daryll, what is the core essence? What is the core? I know you spoke about people, process, the peace part of it, but what is the core essence of building a successful business? Because, and I'll top it up with another question to it. Every entrepreneur goes through a journey of hurrah, I'm passionate, I kickstart, I do a big bang, and there comes a little bit of a dip where nothing much happens. So that is where your core essence plays a very important role for you to come up again. Can you blend both the questions and share your insights?
Two C's. Okay, consistency and character. I feel that at any entrepreneur at any time, like Vikram rightfully said, there is that whole hockey stick growth, that passion, that drive, and then there are days that you just dip down to the valley, and this whole up the valley and down the valley is a very natural thing for entrepreneurs. Even for personal emotions, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, right? It's very, very natural. I think having consistency is key, because when we are consistent, we are in for the long run, right? And when we are consistent, we are also telling ourselves to stay focused and believe and trust the process. And when we believe and trust the process that we have set in, we are able to then overcome certain things that are out of the norm, that are extraordinary, or certain hurdles that are being thrown your way. So if you're consistent, and also consistent then in the second C, consistent in your character, I believe that that will also solve a big part of you making decisions or making the right decisions. As an entrepreneur, because you are a leader, you steer the boat, you steer the ship, you need to be consistent in your decision making, but also your character plays into this, whereby you make the right decision at the right time. I believe as leaders, entrepreneurs, making that decision, sometimes you're put forth with multiple problems and only 3 options or 2 options, sometimes no options, only this one. Should you go ahead with it? Should you not? You need to be wise. You need to have that consistency in your life. I also believe that wisdom comes from being consistent in what you believe, being consistent also in growing. Where I feel it's a bit oxymoron, right? You have to be consistent and anchored in your belief system, but at the same time, you need to evolve. You need to evolve. I'm not asking us to evolve based off of always evolving the core key principles of your life, but I think the core key principles of your life has flexibility depending on the situation that you're dealing with. So I believe that consistency in growing yourself, growing your character, and therefore consistency in your character will help you get through also those valleys as an entrepreneur. And these 2 key, I think I'm reminding myself every day to do it's not easy. It's not
Consistently reminding, yes.
reminding yourself. Right? I think consistency is every part of your life, right? And I believe that someone also told me this, that character is something that you carry to your grave. And you always keep on building your character till you go to your grave. And it's something that humbles me every day as well, and knowing that, well, my character is always also being fired at. I need to consistently build it. I need to evolve in the best way manner to grow, or to scale, or to move not only my company, not only the teams, but myself and my family. Right? And I think that's very important going forward.
Okay. Excellent. I had another question, but I have somebody who's watching this live, and it's Vignesh, whom I know. Hi, Daryll. What is your definition of entrepreneurial mindset? What traits or aspects should an aspiring candidate possess, acquire, and how could he or she do that? Wow, nice one, Vignesh.
I think I've answered some of this in earlier,
In
right?
the
I think
previous,
it's a mesh of whether it's been consistency, character, focus, priority. I think that also that whole mindset is having a mindset shift. More than having just what type of mindset is to acknowledge that our mindsets and the view of the world should also be ready to change or to shift and to see the world or to see businesses or people in a bigger manner, right? So I'm attacking the question more from not exactly the elements, but how a mindset should work, how an entrepreneurial mindset should work. Besides being resourceful, besides being competent, besides being I'm a thinker, right? I like to just sit and think, but an entrepreneurial mindset is a mindset also of change. Again, it's very oxymoron. So it's also a mindset that is set to stone, that is very firm, but also allows for change. Whereby, I also remember one of the leaders told, or rather, I went to a sharing session, and it says that you should be grateful, right, for the now, but also be ambitious for the future. So it's something that stuck to me, whereby then you need to also balance these two, right? Where the mindset should be able to be stuck in one position where firm, this is black and white, but at the same time also flexible enough to have a bigger view of the world, a bigger view of a situation, right? I think these are the traits that candidates or entrepreneurial candidates should acquire along the way. And one thing I realized that in the mindset of an entrepreneur, there is this thing what I call an on and off switch. So when you go down the years of being an entrepreneur, I believe that we need to have a mindset that's able to turn off and on. Meaning to say, we are in a situation sometimes it's very high pressure, high stress, right? We need to acquire this element or this aspect whereby our mindset should also be able to shift in terms of owning in a certain situation where you need to be that leader, where you need to be firm and say that no, this is the way we go. And then there's also one that switches and say that, okay, I'm for peace, I'm here to integrate with the team, I'm here to also excel with the team. Certain things may not be major, and because they're not major to me, I treat them as minor, and therefore I will allow other people to make the major decisions, or what truly inspires them or impacts them the most. So I believe that in this mindset, if we can have that mindset, it helps us through this journey. This is on top of what I've also all said in the earlier parts of the video.
Amazing. Lovely, lovely. I hope that answers to you, Vignesh. That's a very detailed insight from Daryll. Vignesh is asking me the next question. And Vignesh, the show is about Daryll, but I'll try to answer to you in like 30 seconds. As a new entrepreneur, could you please share about the traits that you feel has helped you make progress and hang on in your journey? For me, the traits I have, I think play a very important role, Vignesh, is um, be honest with yourself. Don't beat around the bush. Uh, get up in the morning and, like Daryll said, be consistent. I think for me is you should be passionate and motivated enough for what you're doing, why you're doing. So your purpose or your calling should be very clear. That is very clear for me. As simple as why I do this podcast. I'm extremely, extremely clear why I run this podcast. So when that is extremely clear in your head, you can kind of commit to it. You're motivated about it, you're passionate about it. And I think is the last is don't give up, because like again Daryll said, there are ups and you go down the valley. I have gone down the valley in the last few months, but yes, you kind of come up again. And let for me, people are the best way to motivate, connecting with people. So you find what your motivation is and uh, live with that. Okay,
Can I
I'm not
just
going to spend
on
time.
very,
Yes.
very quickly? Is actually what you're saying also is to wake up, is to kick ass, and to be present, and to repeat, is to rinse and repeat, right? And I believe as a new entrepreneur, specifically as a new entrepreneur here, is to be present. Only you know the ins and outs of your business. Only you are passionate about your business. No one else. Truly, that's the reality of things. No matter how you try to convince your workforce, you are the most passionate. You are the ones that run the show. You need to be present in the first 1 to 5 years. In fact, no one. We just count 3 to 5 years. You need to be present in your business, and there's no two way about it.
Fantastic. Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to ask one, probably two, if I can squeeze in last question, because I do want to cover the rapid fire round, which is the fun part of it, Daryll. In terms of, as they say, and I'm experiencing it too, entrepreneurial journey can be very lonely, and one needs to motivate himself or herself through this entire roller coaster ride all the point in time. What would be your top tips for someone who's going through this journey? Now, for someone who's going through this journey either as a very, very young entrepreneur in their 20s, somebody who's an experienced mid career entrepreneur in their 40s, or probably somebody who wishes to go into entrepreneurship in their 50s, and there is never an age which should denote why you enter into entrepreneur. What, according to you, when you feel lonely, what are your top tips? How to motivate, keep yourself
Good.
motivated?
I think, like I said earlier on, there's no lone wolf, so always find a partner. And this partner is someone that can be with you when you're the highest and the lowest and everything in between. But don't rely on the team. So if you're a solo entrepreneur, don't think that your team will be that support for you. Leaders need to support leaders, because leaders only realize the intricacy of leadership and the many things that you go through as a leader. Some things you can't even share with your team because it's just not helpful, but you can share with leaders, you can share with your co-founders, you can share with your partners. And I think that is the turning point. You either find someone or find leaders or community that can be around you to share that load or to share the lonely days, right? Lonely times. Secondly, it's actually not in the business, but a community, a support system. It can be your spouse, it can be your girlfriend, your boyfriend, it can be a comrade, it can be someone that that you really, really trust. It could be a friend, best friend. It's also there just to listen, maybe not to advise, but just to listen, for you to offload and for them to give you maybe different perspectives. And therefore, it gives you a wider analysis or wider data pool to analyze what you're going through during those lonely days. And I think the third one, again, I just want to put through there, whether or not you are men of faith or women of faith, I think for me, what got me through all the dark days as well is just believing that there is someone bigger, there is a God, there is a God that truly helps me. And through faith, he gives me hope, he gives me grace. And I pray, right? And if you are someone who prays, I would encourage that as well. So there's always that competent physical, our mind portion, but I believe the other portion is spiritual. And if you do believe in that, or even if you don't, find a higher being, something more powerful that can bring you through that journey of loneliness. And I think that will truly help you, because again, 50% of us is also made up spiritually. And I believe this is what really pushes us through, especially those times when we are feeling lonely. Right?
Lonely.
Very difficult to tell the degree or the severity of loneliness an entrepreneur can go through. It's very difficult to explain as well. And until that you're down in the ditch, then you will also know that if no man can help, right, you can only look to God to a large extent. I've been through that. I've done that. I'm still doing it. And I think if you take all this as one whole component, I believe that at least it gives you quite a good package. When you're lonely, there is a solution for that as well.
Nice. Extremely, extremely nice, Daryl. But that just brings me to the last question, because I wanted to, this was not planned, but I'm going to ask you. I heard somewhere on Y Combinator or somewhere that having a co founder is the most important thing for you, should ideally not run as a solopreneur. Is that really true? Do you truly believe in it as well?
I believe in that. I truly. So there's no lone wolf in running a business. And I know some solopreneurs, but if you truly look into their business processes and the leadership team, many of his leaders also do not perform like just any corporate leaders, but they perform as champions, as owners of the business, because perhaps they are not co-founders, but they do have stake. They have stake in the company, they have shares in the company, and therefore the founder has also groomed this bunch of leaders, 1, 2, 3 leaders, to perform like co-founders, and he or she can trust them, right? So I'm saying that you need that element at a community or co-founders or like co-founders, because as long as you got the whole element of a co-founder, meaning to say sharing the load, fighting to the last death, right? If you have that characteristic in someone, is not called a co-founder, it might just be a shareholder and a very high position, leadership position. This person will fight to the death with you. I mean, technically you have a co-founder, right? It's just finding the right person, the person. But ultimately, ideally, find your partners, find your co-founders.
Excellent. Okay. Thanks, Daryl. I had few more questions. We don't have anything else coming from our audience. So I'm going to straight jump into the rapid fire round. Now, the fun rapid fire round, or we call it the FRFR, is just a fun round, Daryl. And this has got nothing to do with the serious talk we have had all this while. And lovely. I mean, an hour has gone by, and at least I didn't realize it. I'm sure you didn't realize it.
Exactly. Yeah, it was good questions coming into. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So, are you ready for the fun round? And this is probably for the people who don't know much about you, even from your team, from your colleagues, from your friends, who would probably know a little bit more about you as
Let me
well.
switch my mindset a bit. So we're going to fun. Okay.
Entrepreneurial mindset to a little bit of a fun mindset. Okay, very simple 5 questions, and we are going to wrap it up quite quickly. Which festival do you celebrate? I'm assuming Chinese New Year, but which festival do you celebrate? And something unique about it which you like the most?
Festival, will you count Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
So Chinese New Year.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
In fact, I also celebrate Hari Raya because I
Oh,
do
okay.
have my sister and all they are Muslims, right? So we do celebrate. So Chinese New Year, there's Hari Raya, and there is Christmas. I guess that answers the uniqueness of my life as well. Not particularly in a certain festive, but I do celebrate quite muhibah lah, to some extent, right? To some extent. But I think at every celebration, I think the most interesting thing is that our family is again big foodies, so we always come together, and the most important thing as any Malaysian is food. But I think for this year and last year, I think the most unique part is that we have an additional person in our team, which is my son. So I think that was something very, very nice for all of us.
Yeah, everybody's eyes are on him, isn't it? We can
don't focus on that. Yeah.
Okay, next one. Question number 2. Which one is your favorite holiday destination in Malaysia?
Oh, in Malaysia. Gotta say, I want to say Langkawi, actually. Not bad Langkawi. Okay. I've been to Langkawi 1 year back, I think, not mistaken, 1 year plus back. I'm quite surprised how well it's taken care of, and I know some of my friends who went there recently also. Still very nice hotels, nice resort, nice people, good food. It seems to be doing quite well as an island versus some of the other more commercialized ones. And yeah, I think for Malaysia, that's it. I haven't really been to the beaches in East. I've been on mission trips to like Sarawak and Sabah, but not for leisure.
Leisure. Okay. Very interesting. What is your hidden talent which not many people around you know, and now everyone will know because you're going to be live on this?
Oh, hidden talent. Well, some people already know this. I used to dance. I used to dance a lot. I in fact
used to.
Yeah, used to. I wanted to, in fact, start my own dance company or dance studio.
Academy. Oh, nice.
Be an entrepreneur. Yeah, I guess that. But I aside to that, I think one so-called quote unquote hidden talent is that I'm also able to look at, again, back to business, right? Again, fun but business. I'm able to look at things at different perspective. So I'm quite empathetic. I believe it's a talent as well. I'm able to look at different things at different angles in the 360 angle, and also determine the different various contexts of people, and always consider those elements as well as I make decisions. So I guess
nice, interesting. If somebody wants a different view altogether, will come to you and say, "Hey, Daryll, we've thought of all these views to this particular aspect. Can you come up with a different view altogether?" Isn't it?
Yeah, and some people call me like the sounding board, or like they call me like, you know, the voice of reason. Some of them call me a voice. Okay, well, I guess that's a compliment.
Great. Second last question. Who is that one person you idolize in your life the most, and why?
Wow, this question has been asked to me a lot, and sometimes I really have no answer to it. I truly have no answer. I do not idolize people. I think my answer to that is I do not idolize, but I do look up. I do look up to authors, to leaders, my church leaders. In fact, I do also look up to my sister, my parents, my wife. Many of them have different talents that I look up to. Idolizing, not really. Don't really believe in idolizing, not even Taylor Swift. I think there are elements to look up to, but I always believe men have their failures. So I don't idolize, but I do get inspiration from people that I
Nice,
look up to. Mm.
nice. Last question, rather a little holistic than a fun one, but life would be better
If I don't feel so unhealthy nowadays. When I hit 30, it was difficult. When below 30, I can eat anything, I can run better. Nowadays, run a bit also, my ankle is hurting. I think it's all back to health. So I'm not like I have some critical illness or whatnot, but life would be better if I could still eat and do not grow fat. If I can run that 10 km and not hurt, I can still work out and not feel so tired at the end of the day. Just consistent and better health.
Fantastic. Lovely. Well, we are more than above the hour, just a little few minutes more, but it was lovely, amazing chatting with you, Daryll. And to our audience who heard us live either on LinkedIn or on YouTube, we hope you benefited from this session with Daryll on tough entrepreneurial lessons learned. I benefited a lot. I think there were a lot of small, little snippets of wisdom shared by Daryll, which are beneficial to young entrepreneurs or even entrepreneurs who are going in their journey now. And I hope it was beneficial to all of you. So thank you again to everyone who joined us for this Curious Mind series podcast. Thank you, Daryll. Any parting words before we end the live session?
Thank you, Vikram. It was a clear winner, and I think I enjoyed myself really, really well. And I think I should applaud and acknowledge you as well as running your own business and the curious mind. And I think that all in all, I think that everybody should have a chance about learning about entrepreneurship. But I think the best thing about entrepreneurship, if you really want to learn it, is to do it. Again, get out there, do it. Don't have analysis paralysis. Whatever idea you have, put it into action. And that will be my parting words for everyone here.
Amazing. Well, on that, we are going to wrap up for the day and we shall connect again with you very soon. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Daryll. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thanks, Vikram. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Bye.